Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Welcome back. I thought I'd try a little something different today. You kind of let me know if you enjoy it, if you'd like to see something more like this, or not, either way. But I've seen several folks doing like library tours and things, and I've been enjoying the heck out of that. And I don't know if I'll go full bore and do like work through every book that I own. That seems like a lot of work. But let me know. But I thought I'd start off with sort of maybe doing some author spotlights or shelf highlights, that kind of thing. So I thought I'd start today with my Margaret Atwood collection. I own quite a lot of her books, and we can just kind of look at them and talk about them a little bit. Though I've not read all of them, of course. But I love Margaret Atwood, and she's why author I want to focus on this year. At least read, I don't know, 2 or 3 of her books this year to kind of work through this stack of unread books of hers that I have. So yeah, I thought I'd start with this, and again, let me know what you think about it. And let's just get started, right? Let's start right off with the Penelope ad. As the title suggests, this is Penelope's story. Penelope, of course, is the wife of Odysseus, and so this focuses on her. When Odysseus is away, what is Penelope up to? We know she has all those suitors that come after her and all that sort of thing. And she's raising her, I think it's a son they have together, yeah. And yeah, so it sounds quite fun, but I've not read this one. I'd love to know thoughts of anyone who has read this one. It's short though, I could get through this quickly, but definitely sounds like fun. The Penelope ad. Sort of a twofer here. I do have books 1 and 2 of the Mad Adam series. First book is Oryx and Crake, and I believe this is the second one, is The Year of the Flood. I think the third book is called Mad Adam, if I'm not mistaken. I do not have this one, but the third book, but this is a dystopian type of story. Again, not one I've read, but this one is definitely on my TBR for the year, so I'm definitely going to be getting to this one this year, and hopefully book 2, maybe, we'll see. But I know it's sort of I think it's a plague story. Let's read here real quick. Yeah. Mankind overwhelmed by a plague, struggling to survive in a world where this character named Jimmy, who's also now known as Snowman, he may be the last human. So he's in search of answers, embarks on a journey, all that fun stuff. So it just sounds really wonderful. I've heard good things about the series, so let me know if you read this one too. I'd love to know your thoughts. Oh, another one I have not read, The Rubber Bride. I've heard amazing things about this one though. Because this one, let's see, set in contemporary Toronto, revolves around the lives of 3 fascinating women, their classmates from university, that they all shared a seductive and destructive experience of a past friendship with another woman, looks like. So they are 20 years past their college days. Oh, and they're meeting back up at that one woman's funeral. Seems like something else happens from there. Sounds amazing. My friend Sadie told me recently, like, yes, you need to read Rubber Bride, because that was one of her favorites. So I should definitely bump this one up the list, and I love this cover. Rubber Bride. Another short one, I have The Tent. I really love this cover too. Isn't that great? Now this one I believe is maybe a collection. Let's see. Yes, I believe this is stories. Let's see. Yep, fictional pieces. So I could definitely work through this. As one of my short story collections for the year that I'm doing. So yeah, it's just a collection, but I love that cover. So good. I know, she has like awesome hair too. Okay. Moral Disorder. This is another collection, looks like. maybe? Let's see. Yes. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about a dozen or so. It says dazzling and deeply personal collection of linked stories traces the course of a life and also the lives intertwined with it. Children's, friends, siblings, enemies. Another collection I can work through this year. And she just has great covers. Okay, Quintessential Handmaid's Tale, am I right? Most of us know what The Handmaid's Tale is. This is my all-time favorite book. I absolutely love this story. Dystopian sort of story where the country has been overthrown by a religious type of government, and women are, or not just women, but people in general are not having as many babies and things like that. So they create they turn fertile women into handmaids, and it's the whole thing, right? But I love it. I'm going to reread that this year, probably sometime. Since we're on Handmaid's Tale, I did recently pick up the graphic novel adaptation for it, and I want to read this year also. It looks pretty great. Looks kind of watercolor almost type of artwork. It looks pretty good. Kind of minimal, but it looks pretty nice. And let's keep going on. Well, of course, with the Testaments, that came out, what, 2019, 2020, when was that? Her sort of follow-up for The Handmaid's Tale. I think it picks up 15 years after Handmaid's Tale, and we're still in Gilead and seeing how things are, 15 years later, and how things have gotten a bit more of a foothold into this society. And we follow 3 women. One is a young girl on the inside of Gilead, as she is, living in this type of society. We follow a young woman that's on the outside of Gilead and her possible connection to someone on the inside. And then we follow one of the not Martha's, but Lord have mercy. I'm drawing a blank on her name. Anyway. I read this. I didn't love it, but it was, it's interesting to think about Gilead, 15 years later. What would be happening, that kind of thing. It wasn't necessarily necessary for the story, but tra-la. All right, another fun cover is The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood. One I haven't read. So this has Marion has a problem. A willing member of the consumer society in which she lives, she suddenly finds herself identifying with the things being consumed. She can cope with her tidy-minded fiancé, Peter, who likes shooting rabbits. She can cope with her job in market research and the antics of her roommate. She can even cope with Duncan, a graduate student who seems to prefer laundromats to women. But not being able to eat is a different matter. Steak was the first to go, then lamb, pork, and the rest. Next came her incapacity to face an egg. Vegetables were the final straw. But Marion has her reasons, and what happens next provides an unusual solution. So this sounds absolutely fascinating. And, when you read the backs of the books, it makes you want to read them right now. Let me know what your thoughts on The Edible Woman if you read it. So this one I have read. It's Hag Seed. And this is a play on Shakespeare's The Tempest. And it is a tale of revenge. And it follows this man, what's his name? Felix, yes, who is sort of the top of local theater. But then he sort of gets pushed out by sort of this new kind of director that comes in, and he's and there's lots of drama and everything, and he sort of runs away and starts life anew somewhere else, but he has a master plan of getting revenge, and it's really pretty wonderful. So if you are a Tempest fan and would like to see a sort of retelling almost of Tempest and an ultimate tale of revenge, Hag Seed was pretty fun. And again, I love this kind of graphic cover of this one too. This one was fun. Alright, this one is Surfacing. Another great cover. This one's moody. Part detective novel, part psychological thriller. Story of a young woman who returns to the remote island of her childhood in northern Quebec to investigate the mysterious disappearance of her father. I'm going to leave it at that since it's kind of a psychological story. I don't like to know too much about that kind of story. Obviously one I've not read, but it's another short one. Let me know if you've read Surfacing. This one is from 1972, so it's an older of her work. Next up we have, should have been checking the years maybe, 1991's Wilderness Tips. This is another story collection. And let's see, charts the complexities of modern life, explores strange and secret places of the heart. So yeah, I've actually not read any short fiction from Margaret Atwood besides this scribbed original that she did last year, which I'm not going to remember the name of, but that's all the short stuff I've read. So I should probably I've got my books toppling over here. One moment, please. Alright, top of my head. Okay. Next up, a chunky one is The Blind Assassin. And the one I've not read. This one is quite long. So this one is from 2000. So we have a woman married at 18 to a wealthy industrialist, but she's now poor and 82. Recalls her far from exemplary life and the events leading up to her sister's death, gradually revealing the carefully guarded Chase family secrets. Okay, that's all I need to know. You know, I love some juicy family secrets. So yeah, I need to get to this one, right? Another one of these covers that it matches Edible Woman. Very cool. Put out by M&S. McClelland and Stewart. Looks like a subsidiary of Penguin, but this look great on the shelf though, like that, yeah. Don't fall over. Alright, The Heart Goes Last. This is from 2015. And a different sort of cover for Margaret Atwood, but so let's see. Stan and Charmaine, their young urban couple, have been hit by job loss and bankruptcy in the midst of a nationwide economic collapse. Forced to live in their third-hand Honda, where they are vulnerable to roving gangs, they think the gated community of Consilience may be the answer to their prayers. If they sign a life contract, they'll get a job in a lovely house for 6 months out of the year. So on alternating months, they must leave their home and serve as inmates in the positron prison system. Okay, that sounds pretty fascinating, right? Please let me know if you read this. It sounds fascinating. I now want to read all of these books. Ugh, it's dangerous. I have this really old copy of Cat's Eye, and I've had this book for a little while now. I haven't read it though. I haven't read it though. Let's see. This one is from 1989. And this one sounds fascinating because it's another kind of woman coming back to her hometown. I love those kinds of stories too. And the woman in this book, what's her name? Elaine. She's a painter, and I also love books that have like arts and artists in it. So she comes back to her hometown for like a retrospective of her artwork, and then I think she kind of runs into like old friends, digs up old memories, old secrets, that kind of thing. And I think people weren't really kind to her in her childhood and stuff. So yeah, this one just sounds juicy too. Another fantastic cover. Love that. Last, certainly not least, is Alias Grace. I have read Alias Grace. I read this one a couple years ago, I think. This one is a historical fiction story, and it's based on a true story from what I remember. So Grace Marks has been convicted of her involvement in a murder of her employer, and so it kind of goes back and forth through time of her leading up to going to work for this person, and then her in prison, kind of telling the story, and then other things that are involved as well. I really enjoyed this one. I think this was adapted into a series, but I actually haven't watched that yet. If you watched it, let me know. Was it any good? It's probably pretty good. Yeah, I really enjoyed Alias Grace. It's good. So yeah, that's my Margaret Atwood collection. It's a lot. And I definitely have not read more than I have read. But let me know, you're an Atwood fan. What have you read? What have you not read? These are by far not even all of her books, of course, because she's been writing for so many years. But I'd love to know what your favorites are, maybe your least favorites too. And yeah, that's gonna do it today. Let me know if this is something you'd like to see more from. I can spotlight some other authors. And yeah, that's gonna do it. Thanks so much for watching today. I appreciate your time as always. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.